Justin, you guys are heading into your next game against Butler, a team that you've seen a lot, whether it was non-conference or in the A-10. What do you think of when you see them coming in? I mean, how have they changed from last year, do you think?
Well, they changed a lot because, they substitute Rodney Clark with Kellen Dunham, 2 shooters. But Butler's a very, structured and disciplined team. Kind of like us. They have a system and they stick to it, and that's why they're so good. That's why they've been so good throughout the years, because everybody knows what they need to do in order to win, and everybody tries to do the best they can, within their role, so they can win.
What about the tie with you being from Indiana, and they were basically in your backyard? Are they a team that you grew up watching at all?
No, I can say that honestly. It's just like you said, it was a team in the backyard, and I kind of started paying attention. They really started getting on the map when I got into high school, and a little towards my later years of high school. But like I said, they're a great team. They know what they need to do to win, and they always do what they can so they can put themselves in the best position to win.
You always talk about creating rivalries within conferences, and you always had a natural rival with Dayton, going back for different conferences this school's played in. But now, when you're in a new conference, does it feel like Butler is kind of that team that maybe is a natural rival for this team in the new conference?
In a way, yeah. In a way, no. We treat every game the same, no matter who the opponent is. But at the same time, we know that we've taken some pretty bad losses to Butler, as some pretty good wins as well. I'm a sophomore, and last year as a freshman, we had a convincing win versus Butler to open up our season. But to end up going later on in the season last year, we took a hard loss in their stadium at Hinkle Fieldhouse, and it kind of feels like a rivalry in a way, because we want to get that win back that we lost last year in the later of the season. So in a way, it is a rivalry, but we're going to treat it like it's another game.
Can games like that, Justin, stick with you from year to year? Or do you guys just flush it and move on, or does that game kind of stick with you guys from last year up at Hinkle?
It's kind of tough when you take such a hard loss in any game to flush it and move on from it. But you still kind of had that thought in the back of your mind, like around this time last year. Around this time this year, of what happened last year. So it kind of rekindles in your mind, and you think about the revenge aspect of it. But like James said, we just approach any game the same way. We know we have to execute defensively, and if we do that, we can be in the game with anybody, from number 1 to the last team in the NCAA.
How do you feel about the way this team's playing right now, James? You guys have won 6 in a row. I got to think you guys feel pretty good about the way you're playing.
Yeah, our confidence is really good right now. Defensively, we feel more together than ever. Losing 3 straight in the Bahamas, we just had to really find out who we are. And since we come back, we've practiced hard. We watch film a lot as a team. We just try to get that structure back as a team and just find out who we really are. And over the past couple of games, we found out who we are as a team. If we stay together, we execute, and we make winning plays, we've proven that we can be a pretty good team. And the team that this year has, we have the utmost confidence.
James, how much did you pay attention to the other Big East games on the marathon day? Did you watch Butler versus Villanova, or do you just kind of head down, focus on Xavier?
Yeah, I kind of just head down, focus on Xavier. If I see him on, if I'm just watching TV, then yeah, I'll watch a couple minutes of it. But as for that, I don't really watch any other teams unless it comes to film with some coaches. But yeah, I just really try to focus on Xavier and just how we can get better.
Playing Butler, obviously, and their coach, Brandon Miller, has some ties here as a video coordinator. Were you guys here at the same time?
We were not. We have, a lot of mutual friends in the business, and, of course, you run into different coaches all through recruiting, and so I've gotten to know Brandon a little bit. I wouldn't say great, but everybody that is friends with Brandon or has worked for Brandon or with Brandon, says nothing but great things, and he's obviously had a really, really good season, especially given the expectations that were thrown on them before the season started.
Do you see a continuation of what Brad Stevens did with what Brandon's doing now in terms of their system and the way that he kind of handles the players?
Well, and I think it started even before Brad. I mean, I think Brad would be the first to tell you that, the Butler way and just their culture of doing things and how they play on both ends of the floor. It looks eerily similar.
Coach, people always talk about rivalries in conferences, obviously with you guys changing conferences. Do you feel like Butler is a natural rival, has a chance to become a rival, or already is?
Well, we've had great games with Butler. I think both fan bases would say it's a great rivalry. I mean, we're an hour and a half apart. Some of the games that we've played that have gone down to the wire, great players on both sides of the rivalry. Yeah, I mean it's a very, very competitive game. I think there's a deep respect. I can only speak for our side, but I know our kids and our coaches have a great respect for the way Butler's always played, and again, this year's no different with how they're playing and who they're throwing out there and getting the job done with.
Miles has provided a very important part of the puzzle from three-point range. Was that his calling card in high school, and what was he able to do during the year when he couldn't play with you guys to really keep his skill sharp?
Well, Miles has always been known as a prolific shooter, but I've said it from the beginning. He's more than that, and I think as you see his career unfold before your eyes, you'll grow, to have an appreciation for what he does when teammates are open, when he knows how to make the extra pass. He can beat you off the dribble. I don't think he's going to get confused, with Samaje by any means. But, he's not that guy that if he just catches it on a closeout situation, if he can't get his shot off, is done. And, he's more than that. And I think, as time goes on, and like most freshmen, he has to learn how we play defensively. And he's going to be a good system defender. He really is. And so he's provided a huge spark for our team this year. You'd probably have to ask Miles what he did last year. I know he got shots up. I know that he got in the weight room and shed a few pounds. But when you're a non-qualifier, there are a lot of limitations that are put on you. He had to come here, pay his own way, go to classes, and really do it all on his own last year. And he and Jalen were in the same boat. They did a great job, but their interactions with the team in team settings, it wasn't allowable.
You talked this week about the teams in this conference that will have the most success are the teams that, win or lose, can just put it behind them and move on. Yeah. You had a chance to kind of gauge the way your teams reacted to the win against St. John's, or is it just kind of to be determined tomorrow?
Well, I think Justin said it best. He didn't mean any disrespect to our new conference. I mean, we're excited. We know it's going to be a big challenge every night, but really, it's just business as usual. That you focus on your next opponent. You have great respect for wherever you play, and I think that's what came out when Justin just said, "Hey, it was just like any other game." When you play here at Xavier, you're used to having 10,000 in the stands cheering for you, and you're used to winning, and that's exactly what we want to try to do tomorrow night.
You guys knew Kellen Dunham, obviously, from last year. Has he evolved into, a different kind of player this year in terms of, just a sharper player? What kind of threats does he bring?
Well, he's more of a go-to guy. A year ago they had Rodney Clark, who was, as good of a shooter as there was in the country, and Kellen is as well. And now there's a little bit more pressure on him to be sort of the man, so to speak, on the perimeter. And so he's been given a great freedom. He's shooting 44% from the three-point line. Some of the shots he takes, I don't even know how he hits the rim, let alone them going in, but they go in. And so we're going to have to do a great job defending, off-the-ball screening actions when he's setting screens, when he's using screens. It's a huge challenge, but he's made a big jump from his freshman to his sophomore year.